Good afternoon and welcome to another Cat at Home series, or good morning, maybe wherever you are. But thank you for taking time to join us today as we talk to you about cat, skid steer, and compact track loaders. That'll be our topic for the day. I'll take a moment to tease next week's topic, which will be the all new backhoe loaders, where you'll join product expert Dustin Adams to learn more about those new and exciting backhoe loaders. Today, you'll be visiting with me, Kevin Coleman, product expert for the skid steer and compact track loaders from my home in North Carolina, not too far down the road from our skid steer facility in Sanford, North Carolina. So, welcome and thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. We'll be talking about our new version of our compact track and skid steer loaders, our D3 series. We have customer driven comfort, performance, and technology enhancements that we're going to talk you through today. First, let's meet the family of compact track and skid steer loaders. As you can see, we've got two traction platforms, the rubber tire skid steer loaders and the rubber track compact track loaders. These are divided into different chassis sizes here. We've got them listed as small, medium, large, and extra large. And when you look at these, you got the small category here. They both have radial and vertical offerings in each of the chassis sizes. When we talk about small machines, these are our smallest chassis machines. They are work ready, very capable machines, some of the smallest, most compact frame sizes we have to allow you to get into the tightest quarter situations that you might be in. When you move to the medium sized platform, our most power dense platform here, it has a lot of performance in a small chassis, allows you to get a lot of things done very well. You move to the large platform there, and you can see these are getting into what we would call a workhorse size machine, where you're getting into larger frames, higher rated operating capacities and capabilities, and also the capability to have the optional high flow, high pressure auxiliary hydraulic system, which gives you a lot of performance for those hydromechanical tools that need that kind of performance. And then you move up to the extra large size chassis, and that is the size that has our highest horsepower, our highest auxiliary performance, to give you that maximum powerhouse type performance that you would expect. Now, often we get a question about, when would I choose skid steers versus when would I choose a compact track loader, wheels versus tires, if you will. So, if you want to think about it in those regards, you can look at a skid steer as having a few advantages. One, they're nimble and quick. They're great for firmer, harder surfaces and traveling great distances if you're carrying material or transporting material, doing tasks on those harder and flatter surfaces. Um, because they weigh a little bit less, they're easier and give you more flexibility in transport, which may allow a little more flexibility when it comes to putting more things on the trailer with the actual machine itself, maybe some extra tools and so forth. Um, it's also a machine that costs a little less upfront, if you will, from an acquisition cost standpoint. And it has, some low owning and operating costs from the standpoint of tires are your major wear item there outside of, you know, fuel and lubricants. Your tires are your major wear item, which can tend to be a little bit less expensive than a set of tracks and sprockets that you'd find on the undercarriage. So you've got a few things like that that give you the opportunity to have a skid steer. If you look at a compact track loader, when you look at what are the advantages there, you're looking at additional flotation, which means you don't have as high a ground pressure. If you look at a skid steer in a muddy or soft underfoot condition, you're going to create a lot of ruts. With a compact track loader, you've got a lot more flotation, a lot lower ground pressure. And so you have the opportunity there not to disturb the ground as much and create the ruts. If you're using a skid steer loader and you create ruts and things like that, then you're spending extra time going back and reworking surfaces, which is not a lot of value add. So from that standpoint, you could avoid that. With the lower ground disturbance, especially if you equip the machine with our bar style tracks that we offer, you've got a great machine that does well in finishing surfaces. So if you're doing some of that finish work, it does great there. You don't have a lot of rework behind that. And then if you happen to be a summertime grading machine, but it's wintertime doing some snow removal, then the bar style tracks are really good in that situation as well. Also, with a track loader, you get the opportunity to have a larger platform from which to lift. Instead of the tires, you got that long belt, which gives you a more stable platform from which to lift and handle those heavier loads. So, some of the advantages and disadvantages maybe between the two, and a couple of things to consider. Another question we often get is radial versus vertical. Why would I choose a radial lift, or what is a radial lift versus a vertical lift? With a radial lift machine, you can think of it as the lift path moving in an arc, if you will. So that means you've got great opportunity for reach at mid lift and so forth. And if you're doing a lot of tasks um, where you're working from, say, the cab down, um, maybe you're digging, dozing, doing some things like finishing and backfilling and grading and so forth. Those are your majority of your tasks. Then you can use the radial lift machine very well. If you're going to do things that are above the cab, if you will, then you're going to maybe want to consider a vertical lift machine. If you're handling materials, you're truck loading, you're stockpiling and digging and so forth, you're going to get that extra reach when your lift arms are at its maximum height. So the radial kind of moves in that arc. So as you raise up, you start to pull the bucket a little bit more back towards the cab, so your reach at your maximum height isn't quite as great. So just a few differences between those two. The other thing is a radial machine is a little bit lighter. The vertical adds a little bit more weight, but that's not it's not a big contributor here. So I got a couple of questions here, I guess, that have popped in. So I think John asked what the difference between radial and vertical was. I think I maybe just answered that for you. If you still got questions, be sure and submit your questions online. I forgot to say that up front. And be sure and ask, and we'll get those as we go along here. So a little bit about radial and vertical, a little bit about skid steer versus compact track loader. So, what's the difference with our new D3 series skid steer and compact track loaders? What's new? Well, one of the things we want to focus on is some of the changes we made to the cab. We've had uh, sealed and pressurized cab, one piece sealed and pressurized cab on our machines for 7 years. And our operators have really enjoyed the quiet comfort that that cab delivers. But we wanted to do a few things to make it even better. So one piece sealed and pressurized cab still remains. We're still going to continue, but what have we done to make it better? Well, first, if you've got an enclosed cab, you've obviously got a door, and we've opened up that door even wider. So it opens up to 40% wider than our previous models for even easier ingress and egress out of the machine. One of the most important things we've done is we've given you more leg room. When you get into the cab, you'll find that there's an additional 3 inches of width in there for your legs, which gives you additional knee room and allows you to have additional foot positions and foot room in the floor pan as well. So increased comfort for you as an operator when you're in that machine for those long periods of time. I also wanted to make it more intuitive to operate the machines, easier to operate the machines. So we've done a couple of things. One, on the joysticks themselves, we've slimmed those up a little bit, made those feel really tight, very much like what you would find on our on our mini excavators, if you will, they're our sister machine. And we've also identified a few things on our buttons a little more clearly. So for creep, for example, if you're using the creep functionality, it's got a button on it's easily identifiable to turn that feature on and off. And then a lot of times you might be back dragging or clearing, leveling the surface or the application where you are. You might be leveling the ground. And a lot of times you want to know if you have actually entered the float mode. And so we put an indicator on the display that allows you to see the float mode. So that's a nice addition as well. And then again, nothing new here as far as the features themselves. Dual self-leveling, return to dig, and work tool positioner. Those are features that we've had on our machine for, again, about 7 years, but we've bundled those all together so that you as a customer can take advantage of those more easily by bundling all together. So if you've got the dual self-leveling, which is the opportunity to keep your load level when you raise your lift arms, or when you lower your lift arms. That's the unique portion of that. It makes it dual leveling, or leveling as you raise or lower when you're doing material handling and such. If you've got that feature, then you'll also have the return to dig feature. Return to dig feature allows you to kind of automate some of the repetitive motions that you would find on the machine. So if you're doing a truck loading cycle, for example, it allows you to automatically return the arms down to its lowest point and reset your work tool ready to go back in the pile with just the press of a button. So automating a repetitive task like digging. And then the work tool positioner, it allows the operator to select a desired working angle or a tilt position of any attachment. And then you can return that attachment to that pre-selected angle with a touch of a button, to help finish with a better quality finish of the product. You can think about it using brooms or attachments of that nature where you want to have a certain position of that broom has a certain down pressure, or maybe it's a trencher, or it could be, even if you're back dragging with a bucket, it could be doing anything with any of our attachments where you want to control that tilt. And then if you have to reposition the rack position or the tilt back position of the tool, you can return to that angle with just a touch of a button. So those three features are now bundled, and it makes it good for those repetitive tasks. In the back of the machine, or the side of the machine here, we've got an arrow pointing to our drive motors. And what's exciting about that is on our skid steer loaders, 2-speed travel is still an option. On our compact track loaders, it used to be standard on all our models except our small ones. With our D3 series introduction, 2-speed travel is now standard on all compact track loaders. So even our smallest models now offer 2-speed travel. In the undercarriage, this is another opportunity to talk about something that we've made even better than what we had before. We've had a suspended undercarriage design on our compact track loaders for over a decade. And during that time, operators and customers have enjoyed the benefits of the additional comfort that provides them in the cab, because that undercarriage is isolated and moves independently of the chassis. So you get a greater ride. You also get opportunity for better material retention because those things move independently. You get a little bit of the shock absorption, if you will. Well, what have we done to make that even better? Well, we've gone to what we call performance-tuned undercarriage. This performance-tuned undercarriage gives you even more operational stability when you're doing tasks like taking heavy loads and putting them into a truck loading, or handling heavy materials from a material handling standpoint, or even grading. So we've taken that undercarriage and we've really tuned that in and made some changes to it so you get less of that pitch and get more of that operational stability when you're doing some of those tasks. I'll pause here for a second, see if we've got any questions. Don't see any, so we'll keep moving. Next thing we'll talk about is our smart technology and smart attachments. So this is some industry first technology and something that we're very excited about. So when we talk about smart technology and smart attachments, well, what does smart mean? Well, every D3 series machine, skid steer, or compact track loader has smart technology built into it. And that smart technology means that it has the ability to recognize our smart attachments. And that starts with plug and play attachment recognition. When a smart attachment is connected to the machine recognizes that attachment. And not only does it recognize that it is smart, it recognizes which of the smart attachments it is that's connected, because there's more than one that we can offer. As an example, down in the corner, we have our smart backhoe, and I'll use that as our example here in just a second. So when it recognizes the smart attachment, it tailors the controls for that particular recognized and connected smart attachment. In this case, as the example, we'll use the backhoe in the image there in the corner. That means that when you depress the button and you go into attachment mode, the joystick controls that are already in the machine that normally would control your forward, reverse, and your lift, lower, rack and dump, or tilt and dump, now would transform into the controls that most or best fit the connected smart attachment. In the case of the backhoe loader, that would mean that those controls would then switch into a mode where you would then control boom, stick, bucket, swing, your stabilizers, side shift, all the things that you need to control in that backhoe attachment using the existing controls that are in the machine. So that's very exciting because it gives you the opportunity now to do things with, in this case, the backhoe attachment with the door closed, in the sealed and pressurized cab, in the heat or in the air conditioning, depending on the season, and that nice comfortable seat and the quiet environment without having to be out on the attachment or having to have the front door removed. So now you've got the capability to use this attachment. The other exciting thing is you can use auxiliary attachments there. You can use a thumb, you can use augers, hammers, all kinds of other attachments that go on this backhoe. And then when you're finished using the backhoe or whatever attachments you may have connected, you can bring all that back up, pick up your stabilizers and click out of your attachment mode and then back into your machine mode and just drive it across the job site, whether you need to take it to another location or whether you just need to move it in order to continue your task. So that's the way that works with the backhoe. If you connect with one of our other smart attachments, it will tailor those controls as well. We'll talk about those in a second. And then the third thing smart means is special control and informational screens in the advanced display monitor. So in this case, the special screens that you would see in the display would be the capability to switch between the backhoe control mode or the attachment control mode. So if you prefer not the attachment, I'm sorry, the backhoe control pattern, or the excavator control pattern. So if you're a backhoe control person, you can do that, or you can use a screen to select excavator style controls and control the backhoe that way. So those are the three things: attachment recognition, tailored controls for your connected smart attachment, and then special information and control screens for your recognized smart attachment. If you go to Cat Landscaping and Construction on YouTube, you'll be able to see additional information via the What is Smart video under the skid steer and compact track loader playlist. And I invite you to go there. There's a lot of good content there. And you can learn more about the What is Smart. In addition, you can also learn about some of the other smart attachments we have. We mentioned the smart backhoe loader attachment and talked about that as an example. We also have a smart dozer blade with assist. So our smart dozer, in a similar fashion to the backhoe, the machine would recognize that smart dozer. It would convert your controls to match the dozer. So your left-hand joystick would continue to be your drive joystick. Your right-hand joystick would then convert into dozer-style controls. And so what that means is that now when you move the blade to the left or right, you're controlling your blade tilt, and then you can use your thumb roller in order to angle the blade, as opposed to the normal controls that you would have on the skid steer loader or compact track loader. So that's one of those things. It also has the assist functionality, which means it works together with the operator in the machine to try to minimize any of that washboarding you might get when you're trying to use a dozer blade. It lets you have the ability to have smoother passes, smoother passes when you're working together with an operator to help maintain flatness. And you can also use the screens that we talked about, the decade screens. You'll get mainfall, you'll get machine slope and blade slope information in the display, which all those combined with the assist and the tailored controls will allow the operator to either cut or build material to build the grade as necessary. So smart dozer with assist. So those two are pretty exciting. And then coming soon here, we will have smart grader blade with assist. So grader blade, just exactly what you would think about in terms of a grader blade. It has the capability for you to tailor the controls there as well. Again, your left-hand joystick is still your drive. Your right-hand joystick, again, tailors to that control. So in the case of the grader blade, when you move fore and aft with your right-hand joystick, you raise your blade up and down. When you move it side to side, you're tilting your blade. Use your thumb roller, you're rotating the grader. And then you have the capability to use the little wings that are on the side of the blade as well. And instead of side shifting, we have the wings there, so that allows you to fold and carry material in if you're carrying around need to carry material around an object, or you can even make it wider by up to a foot on each side, with each of the wings extended fully out to the side, or you can curl both of those around and carry a material kind of like a box blade, if you will. So this is a very exciting tool, is coming very soon as well. And again, all three have the same architecture of plug and play recognition, tailored controls, and the dedicated information and control screens for that recognized smart attachment. Okay, so that's very exciting. I'd invite you to visit our CAT landscaping and construction page on YouTube. That's our channel. There's a skid steer and compact track loader playlist where you can learn more about the smart grader. You can learn more about smart backhoe, what is smart, all those things we talked about. And there's also an attachments playlist as well. Not only can you learn about the smart attachments, but you can learn about any of the numerous attachments that we have out there available for our CAT compact track and skid steer loaders. One of our machines without an attachment is sort of like a hand without a thumb. You know, you need all those things working together to be as effective as possible. And we've got lots of attachments to help you diversify maybe what you're doing, and or to do it even more effectively and efficiently. So go out there and check out the skid steer playlist and the attachments playlist as well. And so with that, I'll see if we've got any questions. I don't see anything else submitted yet. I have a question that was submitted. Can you upgrade, I think, an existing machine, maybe a 259 or other model, to have the smart technology? So right now, the only way to get the capabilities out of the smart attachments is to have a D3 series skid steer or compact track loader. We'll see what happens in the future, but right now that technology and that coupling only exists in the D3 skid steers and the smart attachments. That's built into the D3 series. So that was something that we were able to offer with that new series of machines. Yeah, I think I answered that question. Yep. Can I update? So you can't convert an old machine to a smart machine. You have to have a newer vintage machine to have that smart technology. Another question that came in: can smart attachments be used on an older vintage machine again? No, not at this time. Maybe in the future we will have an opportunity to allow some sort of compatibility between our older vintage machines and the smart attachments, but the integration between the two won't be the same if we are able to offer something of that nature, because the way the smart technology and smart attachments work together, you have to have both of those two pieces in order for that to be as integrated, so that you can use the existing joysticks in the machine with the new smart attachments and the technology and the capabilities that offers. One of the other things I forgot to mention on the smart grader is that not only do you have that capability to use that smart grader blade, you can also combine that with 2D or 3D reference material in order to get an even finer grade, or even more precise grading if you need that. So you do have that capability to combine with 2D or 3D external reference if you need to. Somebody asked, what's the price of the machines? Well, what I would invite you to do there is, I can't really comment on pricing from this standpoint, but I would invite you to go down to your local CAT dealer and talk to them about your needs, and see what machine best fits your needs, and what equipment you need to have on those machines in order to to best accomplish your tasks. And they can work some numbers up for you with not only the machine, but also with the attachment or attachments that you best need as well, whether it be one of these smart attachments or whether it's just a set of forks and a bucket. And we do have some offers running right now, so I would invite you to head on down to your local cat dealer and talk to them and let them help you out with that. Let's see, we have any other questions? Okay. All right. I think that's it. So let me invite you back again next week again to check out the new cat backhoe loaders and visit with our product expert Dustin Adams at that time. But if you can't, please check us out later on YouTube. As I said, we've got some great stuff out there on our playlist. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to join us, and we'll see you next time.